go through this with you and share just share my screen with you and how I've been using Follow Up Fuel is a couple things. I don't know about you, but I feel anxiety and a little bit overwhelmed every time I have to sit down and write another email sequence for an offer that I have, whether it's a lead magnet or whatever, right? And so leading up to this re-release of Follow Up Fuel and the relaunch of Follow Up Fuel, I remember just being, what's the word? Like just anxious to have it done so that I could start writing these email sequences again, because without access to this, I really didn't know, even after all this time and sort of being immersed in it, it was still sort of difficult for me to say, okay, which email do I write first? Which email do I write second and third and fourth? And like, what do I say in these emails? And so as I started to do this, as I started to get into the application, and I'll go right into Classic Welcome just as an example. Hold on, let me log in. Like a million logins right now. Follow Up Fuel. At gmail.com. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I'm going to have to go into LastPass. Hopefully, it won't reveal anything. All right, here we go. You can see all these apps that I used. Where's Follow Up Fuel? Which one? Oh, this one right here. Launch. All right. Sorry, guys. Okay, here we go. Here's the classic. All right, so here's the classic welcome email. And so as I was going through the sequences to put them out to all of you, so if you just sort of bought, so to speak, for free Follow Up Fuel, you're on my onboarding sequence. If you're not, probably let me know. There was a couple of I forgot to integrate it into the funnel a couple of times, so some people might not be on there. But the point is that you see all of the onboarding sequence emails that I've been sending, and as I've been going through them and answering these questions, I was thinking, okay, how much easier is this than previous versions? Like how much more comfortable am I with this? What are you guys going to see? What are the users going to see? People that are that haven't necessarily sat in my seat for this long in terms of looking at the questions that are in there, looking at the actual full templates on Google Docs and going through them and just sort of living with it for so long. Like, how are they going to experience it? And I figured, obviously, my experience is different from what you guys will experience for a number of different reasons. So I just wanted to share how I'm doing it. So you guys haven't seen this welcome sequence come from me yet. You're actually on an onboarding sequence that's in here. But for people who are going to be new leads to Follow Up Fuel, and they're going to be going through a different funnel, this is what I'm going to be using. So just a couple of things to point out. I know that this still isn't flawless. There still needs to be improvement in terms of the text and the way it flows. I don't know if I'll ever get that perfect, only because like I'll just give you an example. So if it says, what is the name of your offer? And my answer, of course, is Follow Up Fuel, right? So if I come down here, I'm actually looking at this sequence. And as I'm typing it, I can see, thanks for signing up for my list. I think before we begin, I would like to introduce myself and the purpose of Follow Up Fuel, right? Follow Up Fuel was designed with you in mind. I understand that you have, so here it is right here. Here's an example. It says, you have struggling to figure out what to say and how to say it. Now, clearly that does not make any sense grammatically, and it doesn't necessarily flow within the sentence, right? But I don't want you to get stuck on that, because the point of this application and the way I wanted to make it automated and to make it easier for us to just go through it and use it is that because of the automation, it's not as intuitive that it's going to know instinctively to start a sentence, say, with a capital letter or not a capital letter, or to remove a particular adjective at a particular time because the word before it was a noun or something like that, right? It's not going to, unfortunately, it's not that intuitive. But I think if you can look at it from a bigger picture, which is the way I've chosen to, because I feel like I'm more of a perfectionist than I'd like to admit sometimes, which is part of why it took me so long to do this and to get it right. But if you step back and say, all right, cool, like the structure is there, and the ability for me to just go through and answer these questions is there. So even though this question might have been answered, like it says, what is the biggest pain point of your subscribers, right? This question, struggling to figure out what to say and how to say it as it pertains to Follow Up Fuel, was probably answered by me in another email sequence. So as I was looking at that sequence while I was writing it, it made sense in that particular sequence. It could have been another welcome sequence. It might actually be in the onboarding sequence. I'm not sure. But the point is that when I download it, right here, when I click download and I bring it to my desktop, then I can adjust it, right? I can adjust it on my desktop, or I can adjust it in my autoresponder. All right, so that's why I'm not getting hung up on it, and I don't think you should too, because I think really it's a matter of just being able to follow the structure, and when it does work, it's beautiful. So if you see like all this time where it says follow-up fuel in the previous application, I would have had to have stopped and written, okay, I created follow-up fuel, and I'd have to write it out again, right? My expertise is in offering a product that will help you convert more leads into customers. See, like those things right there are already there. And as I look at other sequences in the template, or other sequences in the application and other templates, it's beautiful because I don't have to repeat myself anymore, right? Oh shoot! All right, so let's just go to the next one. Again, what is your expertise, right? So just keep in mind, by the way, just to back up for a second, in this email sequence, it's really sort of a get to know you, nurture type thing. Like I'm not really selling anything in this particular sequence, right? It's just in this last sentence, it says, to help you along, I will be sending you emails that give you an insight into what I do, as well as to offer free tools and recommendations for success. So basically, like this is just a nurturing sequence, right? The whole know, like, and trust type thing. So the people are cold and never heard of Jason Webb and never heard of Follow-Up Fuel or anything, frankly, for that matter. And they're just seeing my face for the first time, and they're seeing this product for the first time. Maybe the opt-in page, maybe the sales page gets them to purchase immediately, but maybe it doesn't. But this sequence right here is sort of designed to nurture them. And that's personally how I'm going to use it. Now, obviously, if you want to be more aggressive and you want to adapt the templates to fit more of an aggressive nature, then great. And sometimes I do that. Sometimes I'll actually use there is no free trial here for Follow-Up Fuel, but I can use that for because it's a little bit more aggressive than a welcome sequence that I could plug in to really try to move people along in the email sequence and get them to buy Follow-Up Fuel. All right. So again, what is your name, Jason? That question is going to come up 1,000 times in the email sequence. I never have to write my name again. It's there, unless I want to change it to Jason Webb or something. And then I have the option too, by the way. I can change it to Jason Webb. You can see I didn't scroll properly, but there it is right there, Jason Webb. Right. I don't want to, so I'll just go back and do that. This saves automatically, by the way. I don't know if you saw my email or my Facebook post, but as I'm moving through this, it saves automatically. I was actually offline and didn't realize it the other day, and I was filling all these out, and it still was able to save all of my work, which is fantastic. All right. And by the way, notice how this changed now to the second email sequence, or second email template. So the first question in here is, what is the main thing you want them to accomplish, and you answer those, right? And you can just go through it. So let me just show you, let's just read this. As promised, these emails I send you are here to try and assist you in figuring out how to solve, see, here's another, struggling to figure out what to say and how to say it, right? So the question in the application was, and I can look at it because I have the spreadsheet, but essentially what's the major problem that you're trying to solve, right? And so you can say whatever it is right here. You know what you're trying to say, right? I'm struggling to figure out what to say and how to say it, right? So I can write it in a different way. So when I download it or put it in the emails or put it in my autoresponder, it's going to look differently. All right. Then it says, let me be honest. The reason you wound up on my website is because, and then it says, so right here, it says help you write email sequences that convert. So now what I'm going to do is let me just switch to my desktop to show you what I mean by all of this. So if I go, let's see, to Follow-Up Fuel folder right here, it says ready for, I use drip, so ready for drip. And then it says classic welcome right here. All right, my docs. So here's basically how these look once I figure these out, right? By the way, with the subject line, I change the subject line when necessary. The subject lines are probably the most generic thing in Follow-Up Fuel. So I wouldn't necessarily get too hung up on that. I change the subject line when I go into drip, but you can see here, it says, thanks for following up Thanks for signing up for my email. I think before we begin, I would like to introduce myself and the purpose of Follow Up Fuel. Follow Up Fuel was designed with you in mind. I understand that you have been struggling to figure out what to say and how to say it, and need something that can assist you. See, that was something that was corrected from the original template, right? Was designed with you in mind. I understand that and I basically just corrected it here and said something that was a little bit more coherent, right? And it took me 2 seconds. It's not like it took me forever to figure that out because the structure was already there. I already knew what I wanted to say. It was just a little off balance. So I just wanted to make sure that I addressed something like that because it was brought up to me privately, which I definitely saw. And so I created Follow Up Fuel to be able to help make your life easier. My expertise is in offering you a product. So here you can tell it's part of the template, right? My expertise is in offering you a product that will help you convert your new leads into customers. To help you along, I will be sending you emails that will give you insight into what I do, as well as some of the free tools and recommendations to help your success. This is a super exciting opportunity for us to work together sincerely. And I probably wouldn't write sincerely. I'd probably write follow up with you soon because that's just my thing, right? That's just my MO, right? And then the next thing too, right? So that's what's nice about the way that it's done is that, and you're going to find areas where you're going to be writing a lot. Hold on, let me see if I can find something that at Follow Up Fuel I say a catalog. So here's another one. At Follow Up Fuel I say a catalog of email sequences designed to help you nurture your leads until they're ready to buy, right? So if you want to move through this thing fast, right? And frankly, I do, right? There's just not enough time to do everything in life. So that's why I like this new version too as well, because like this morning I wrote something for, actually no, was it this one? Yeah, it was. And I didn't even pay attention to the templates, to be honest with you. I just answered the questions. I just went right through them and answered the questions and figured that I was going to have to eventually just make adjustments. And I didn't care because I just wanted to get through it. Okay, I just wanted to get through it. Because to me, that was the most important thing, is once I was able to get through it, then I can just hit download. I can just hit download right here. And then it just ends up being a zip file, all right? Actually, let me just show you something really quickly before we get into what else I want to say. So you can do as a doc file, right? Or you can use the text as well. Text is a little bit funky. So actually, I guess it's not that bad. Sometimes the text headline is a little bit funky, but it looks like a subject line, but that is actually looking pretty good. All right, good. So it's cooperating during this presentation. Awesome. All right. Let me see if I can find one that has a lot of customization that I made. Where was it? And by the way, you see this as you're answering these questions, like to begin with, this had more than 2 questions remaining in it. It probably, I don't know how many it had, but it certainly had more than 2 questions remaining in it. But because I answered some of these other questions like free trial, classic welcome, or free trial engagement, then obviously it made it much, much easier. Hold on, let me just try welcome with content. Let's just try this one. Actually, no, I don't think it is. There's a couple where, like I wrote, oh wait, I know, hold on. Let me see if I can find it over here. But it's, yeah, I think it is. Oh, no, it's this one. It's the one that you guys are getting, actually, I think. The onboarding sequence. Let's try, let me just look at this real quick. Pretty sure I didn't actually save those in particular on my desktop, but back to sequences. Oh, by the way, I want to show you the, how to add, I'm going to show you how to add profiles to this as well, so you can make more. I think it's this one, the onboarding welcome. So there's a couple of instances in here where I wrote kind of a lot, like, or more than, oh yeah, so here's it right here. Look at this. So everything that you see in bold here, 2 things. Number one, that's where the template, that's where the space in the, that's where the space in the template was, where the questions used to be. When you first come in, you'll see that you'll see the questions when you first start filling out the sequences. The more sequences you fill out, you'll see less of the questions because you've already answered them, of course. So just realize that when you're typing them, you'll see them highlighted in yellow, and they'll also be bold, so you'll know. But anyways, my point is that it says, I believe in going above and beyond to help you confidently write follow-up email sequences. That's why in today's email, I'm going to share the answers to the most frequently asked questions about Follow-Up Fuel, right? How do you know which email sequences to send? What is the difference between welcome sequence and another, one welcome sequence and another? So all this stuff right here that you see in bold, obviously, you have to answer the questions, right? You have to think about it, right? And then it says, here are my most common answers to those questions. And I repeat it right here. How do you, I forgot to put a question mark in there, but again, I can do that, no problem. How do you know which email sequences to send, right? Simple as that. And then I just write it, right? And so when I'm writing it, hold on, let me see if I can show you here. I can get, where is it? All right, so we can get a little bit messy because up here up top, you can see question number 13 and template number 2 here in the sequence. It's a lot of writing, right? But it doesn't matter. The app will take it. So I'm just going to move my cursor over, and then it just keeps going, right? And just keep writing. You know, it's not the most eloquent look to that, but at the same time, it still gets the job done. All right, so you can just keep writing, and while you're writing, all that stuff at the bottom in the sequence is going to be filled in, right? So this right here, the onboarding sequence that I have for you guys is another one right here. I definitely added a lot of customization, but it's something that you would do anyways. I don't care what email tool you're using, or frankly, if you're not using any at all, there's no question in my mind that this just saves a ton of time when it comes to that stuff, all right? So I was going to go over every single email, but in the welcome sequence, but hopefully you get the gist. Actually, don't even, just hold on. Let me just back up for a second if you guys are still with me. Couple things to point out. I've noticed here today that we doubled up on this question, or this template. It's actually the same thing twice. So that's just something that was missed while we were developing it. It gets really confusing. At one point, I'll actually show you the spreadsheet behind all this, which is just maniacal when I think about it, or made me maniacal. But also what this welcome sequence does, and a lot of these sequences, whether it's a welcome sequence or any other sequence, they can take on different personas, I guess, if you will. So this one right here might look like a welcome sequence, but if you see here in, say, this one right here, this on the 1, 2, 3, 4th email, it's actually an affiliate sequence embedded in there, Rob. This might be something you're interested in if you're still on, which is that, again, you're just sort of nurturing them. They're getting to know you. They don't know who you are yet. Now they do, because maybe in the third email you shared your podcast, which if you guys know, I have a podcast now, or if you have a blog or something, you're just sharing this information with them. And now on the 4th email, you can say, boom, I have something that you might be interested in, and here it is. It's ClickFunnels. So it says, I know you've been struggling to figure out what to say and how to say it. That's extremely challenging. I've worked with other people in that situation. And then, by the way, you can even tell that this template's written not necessarily for somebody that's selling software, but also it really seems like it's written for somebody that's selling information, some sort of coach or something like that, which is fine. Again, I mean, I built this for me. It just so happens that this sequence that one of the copywriters wrote is for more coaching and consulting, but it doesn't matter. I adapted it to fit my own. Or when I download it, I will. Sometimes when I'm answering these questions, I'm not even paying close attention, then I'll put it onto my desktop and then I'll answer them more carefully, or just figure out what to say. So anyways, struggling to figure out what to say and how to say it, and it can be extremely challenging. I found I have worked with other people in that situation and have often found myself dealing with that too. When I started Follow-Up Fuel, I wanted to be able to give customers, again, here it is right there. I would probably say something like, give customers the ability to reduce overwhelm without having to write follow-up sequences for every phone, right? Something like that, right? But the sentiment is still the same. Whether that was through my services or something I could do to help you out, it was always my intent to make your life easier, which is true. That is why I've partnered with another expert to be able to provide you with some help. I'm super excited to be able to give you and then solutions. Sometimes, by the way, you'll see some of these templates, like we didn't carry over the logic, even because we just forgot, frankly, if something was skipped. All this stuff is going to be improved over time anyways. I've already talked to the project manager who built this app, and some flaws that are in Follow-Up Fuel that are going to get fixed. But anyway, so here's the point, right? So access by clicking ClickFunnels. By clicking here, by the way, I love ClickFunnels. You'll hear me talk about that a lot, just because I went through their one funnel away challenge. I paid $100 for it. I'm glad we would have paid $1,000 for it. I got so much out of it, literally probably within the first day. It's just incredible. And I'm a proponent of their software. If you see my sales pages, that's their ClickFunnels pages. I love them. I'm not like I'm not an affiliate person necessarily, but I do believe in them. So I talk about them a lot. And I don't know how much of this I wouldn't be able to finish on the sales side had it not been for them. So anyways, it says what it is. But my point is that in this sequence, even though it's a welcome sequence, it can also moonlight, so to speak, as an affiliate sequence. All right. So hopefully that makes sense and you get that. Let me just check back here on Facebook. Jason, just saw that you came on 23 minutes ago. Sorry to miss it. And seeing part of okay, no problem, Vegas. All right. So nobody else. Okay. So let me just go back to the go back to the app, wherever that is. Right there. Boom. Let me show you one of the cool things that I know a lot of people were looking for last time, which is the ability to add profiles. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, Alex. Hold on. Let me go to another account that doesn't necessarily have. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it because I'm showed somebody's email address. Hold on, let me try this actually. I think this will probably work. Nope. Well, like the point, I'll just show you this. The point is that what you can do under this under this new platform is you can click add profiles. When you add profiles, that means that if you are selling, let's say all your answers are geared towards your affiliate product, like ClickFunnels, whatever product that you're promoting, Follow-Up Fuel for that matter. It'll be, I'll start giving you guys the ability to promote Follow-Up Fuel, which would be awesome. But you can create as many different products as you want, and you can answer them answer these questions over and over again, and you'll have different profiles for them. Now, the flaw is that you have to use different email addresses. That's not what I wanted. I asked the developer to basically make it so that if Rob Reese has 4 or 5 products, he can just all under his same email, basically. He can just keep creating multiple profiles. I learned a trick though. I don't know if maybe I'm new to this this trick. Maybe a lot of you guys know this, but if you just like for Gmail, I haven't tried it for anything else, but I was talking to somebody the other day who was helping me something for Actionetics that I needed, and he showed me that all I have to do is add like a plus and then a number, or plus and some sort of other character, I guess, after the root of my email address. So if my email address is say web.jay, then I can say web.at@gmail.com, then I can say web.jay +1 at gmail.com, web.jay +2 at gmail.com, and so forth and so on. And it will allow me to create those email addresses without having to create a new Gmail account over and over and over again. So a pretty cool hack, and a thought that I thought was extremely useful to be able to do that. So again, even though you have to do multiple email addresses right now for these profiles, you won't have to necessarily create new email accounts. Hopefully, I'm going to change that so that it's a lot easier to just sort of keep it all under one umbrella, so to speak. And then also, for those of you who might be watching and you haven't purchased the old version of Follow-Up Fuel or this version of Follow-Up Fuel, just keep in mind that that's going to be probably an added feature at some point, because the way I look at it is that if you have let's say you're a marketing agency and you want to be able to sell Follow-Up Fuel or offer Follow-Up Fuel, I should say, to your clients, and you want to have multiple user access under your umbrella so that you can control it and help them and manage their email campaigns for them. I think it's something that would be great for marketers, marketing consultants and coaches and stuff to be able to help their clients write email sequences, and then you can have it all under this one umbrella. They wouldn't have the master sort of license that you have in terms of being able to add other profiles under them, but at least if you're the owner of this, then you will be able to do that as well. And then just one other thing that I'll say about the content and the templates is that There will be more templates. I'm going to try to add more sequences and more templates pretty much monthly. I'm not really sure. I don't have a particular number in terms of how many we're going to be adding. Part of the challenge initially is just going to be, there is no back end to this, right? So I don't actually even, like what you see and what you're looking at right now is what I can see and what I'm looking at every day. I actually didn't have them build the back end because it was just a lot more, it's just going to be more expensive. I'm going to have them do that after I hopefully get this thing off the ground successfully, bring in some money, and then I'm going to reinvest it in building the admin part. And then when we do that, then we're going to be able to publish more sequences faster, because right now the developers just put them in, literally just copy and paste them and just sort of figure out how to create the if-then logic, I guess, within Follow-Up Fuel to make it all make sense, right? So eventually it's going to be where I'm going to have copywriters just be able to publish hopefully just from their own desktop remotely into the Follow-Up Fuel sequence or Follow-Up Fuel platform, and then we'll have it even sorted by content writers. So maybe you have a particular writer that you like better than the other, or better than others, and so forth. So anyways, that I believe is all I am saying. Hold on. Oh, there you go. Vegas got a question. Okay, cool. Oh, sorry, Joe Sales. Question, will this have the ability to add account for virtual assistants so they won't need actual login credentials? Yes, you can, yeah, all right, yeah, hopefully, that's a good question. I didn't even think about the VAs, but yes, you'll be able to just click on the add profile and then add your virtual assistants. You can add your virtual assistants email if you want, or like I said, if you don't want them to have actually login credentials, then, well, it's two things. If you create a separate, you can create basically a username, an email address, and a password for them. So when they log in, it's actually their own thing. It's actually separate from what you have, Joe. It's completely separate. So you don't. So there won't necessarily be any cross-pollination there. However, if you don't want to give them login, then you can basically just create a account, and you can have the username and password yourself, and then just have them go in and type in their answers. Although I guess at one point or another they're going to know. I think they're going to have to know the access, the login information, the username and password. It's just, I don't think it's something that that you'll be able to get around. But nonetheless, yes, you are able to share it with them for sure. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this made sense. You got something out of it, and I will see you guys later.